On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 vanished from radar screens and communication channels with 239 people on board. The disappearance of Flight 370 remains one of the most perplexing and tragic mysteries in aviation history. The Boeing 777-200ER aircraft took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Malaysia en route to Beijing Capital International Airport in China. Everything appeared normal during the initial phase of the flight. About 40 minutes after takeoff, the aircraft's transponder stopped transmitting its location, and all communication was lost. Subsequent radar data indicated that the plane made a sharp turn to the left, deviating from its intended flight path. What followed was an intense, multinational search effort covering vast stretches of the southern Indian Ocean, where satellite data suggested the plane might have gone down. The search for the missing jetliner became the most expensive search in the history of aviation, at about $200 million. Despite an exhaustive search covering more than 120,000 square miles, involving numerous countries, ships, and aircraft, no trace of Malaysian Flight 370 was found. A plane of that size, crashing into the sea at high speeds, according to experts, would break into tens of thousands of pieces on impact. Many of those pieces would float, such as seat cushions, luggage, even body parts. Yet nothing was found floating on the surface during the search. Despite deploying advanced technology, including underwater autonomous vehicles, no wreckage was discovered until July of 2015, when a piece of the plane's wing known as a flaperon washed up on Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean. A report released by an independent group of experts indicated the debris was shorn from the aircraft during an uncontrolled high-speed dive. Analysis of ocean drift and a review of the revised flight path pointed to an area 1,200 miles west of Cape Leeuwin in Western Australia as the potential crash site. The area is known for deep ocean floor canyons and underwater mountains. Peter Foley, who led Australia's search team for the Malaysian Airlines jet, carried out a sonar search of over 50,000 square miles of ocean floor without success, the world's largest high-resolution search of its kind. The disappearance of Flight 370 has given rise to a multitude of theories, ranging from mechanical failures to deliberate actions. We'll touch on some of the prominent disappearance theories, saving the most widely accepted hypothesis for last. Some speculate that the plane was hijacked, possibly as a terrorist act. American aviation journalist Jeff Weiss speculates that Russian operatives stole Flight 370 via the plane's electronic bay, which is accessible by a hatch in the first-class cabin, to distract from the Crimean War. The lack of credible claims from any terrorist group and the absence of any wreckage initially cast doubt on this theory. Mechanical failures, such as a sudden catastrophic failure or fire, could have incapacitated the crew and led to the plane's diversion from its intended path. However, this theory struggles to explain the precise navigational changes and the silence of the crew. An unconventional theory proposes that the plane was remotely hijacked and controlled, explaining the precise navigation. This scenario raises questions about the technical feasibility and the motivations behind such an act. It is possible that a combination of pilot error and technical glitches could have caused the plane's deviation and eventual disappearance. However, this theory falls short in explaining the lack of communication and the abruptness of the flight path change. Some fringe theories suggest that underwater volcanic activity could have caused anomalies in the ocean's surface, leading to radar misinterpretations and navigational errors. Obviously, this fringe explanation lacks substantial evidence. The most widely accepted theory is one of murder-suicide. This theory suggests that one of the pilots intentionally diverted the plane off its course and flew it until it ran out of fuel, leading to a crash in a remote part of the ocean. The lack of any distress signal and the precise route deviation have fueled suspicions of human intervention. In a significant development regarding the mysterious disappearance of Flight 370, evidence emerged that supports the theory that pilot Zahari Ahmed Shah intentionally crashed the aircraft. A re-evaluation of available data and investigative findings shed light on the controversial theory that the disappearance was not a result of mechanical failure, but rather a deliberate act by Zahari Ahmed Shah, the aircraft's captain. The evidence supporting the intentional crash theory revolves around a more in-depth analysis of Shah's background, his behavior, and his actions in the days leading up to the incident. Investigators have delved into his personal life, his mental state, and potential motives. Reports indicate that Shah had a strong interest in flight simulations and had practiced a similar route to the one taken by Flight 370 on the flight simulator installed on his home computer. This has fueled speculations that he meticulously planned the ill-fated flight, using his knowledge of the aviation system to avoid detection. Additional scrutiny of Shah's communication patterns and social interactions raised questions about his mental state at the time of the incident. While some friends and colleagues had previously described him as passionate about aviation, subsequent testimonies suggest that he was increasingly withdrawn and emotionally distant in the months preceding the flight. This change in behavior, coupled with the deliberate disabling of communication systems on the aircraft, has led investigators to consider suicide and mass murder as potential motives. American aviation writer William Longavishu, in a 2019 report for The Atlantic, points out that the Malaysian government, rife with corruption and not known for transparency, knew more about Zahari's personal life than it let on. The Malaysian Ministry of Transport's final report from July of 2018 was inconclusive. According to the mass murder-suicide theory, Zahari was an experienced pilot and had the expertise to execute such a plan. He probably depressurized the cabin early on, killing everyone on board hours before the plane dropped into the sea. In case the aircraft was detected, the pilot also avoided giving a clear idea where he was heading by using a flight path with a number of changes in direction, according to aerospace engineer Richard Godfrey. He added, quote, "The flight path seems well planned and avoids commercial flight routes. The pilot appears not so concerned about fuel usage and much more concerned about leaving false trails," unquote. Mr. Godfrey went on to say, "The significant number of changes of track and speed suggests that there was an active pilot during the flight. Speed changes were beyond the level of changes expected if the aircraft was following a speed schedule such as the long-range cruise or the maximum-range cruise mode." Godfrey concludes, "The level of detail in planning implies a mindset that would want to see this complex plan properly executed through to the end." Experts emphasize that this evidence should be considered alongside all of the existing theories, including mechanical failure and external interference. It's important to note that no conclusive proof has yet been established and the investigation is ongoing. While the discovery of some debris provided concrete evidence of Flight 370's fate, many questions remain unanswered. The majority of the aircraft, including its fuselage and the main wreckage, has yet to be located. And the absence of the aircraft's black boxes, which contain crucial flight data, and cockpit voice recordings has hindered efforts to definitively determine the cause of the disappearance. What do you think? Was Malaysian Flight 370 a murder-suicide mission? Did Flight 370 crash and disappear due to mechanical malfunctions? Or was the plane hijacked by Russian terrorists? Let us know in the comments below. Please help our channel grow by subscribing, sharing this video, and clicking the like button. And click the notification bell so you won't miss the next episode of Mysteries, Legends, and Lies.